working. I don't know, Wi-Fi and like technology these days is just not, we're not getting along, which is funny because I saw another astrologist comment on how like there are more technology problems under Mercury in Pisces than we had Mercury in retrograde. So if this comes out like blurry or choppy or just not there, I'm gonna be upset, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm just gonna let go. Hi, I hope you are well, or as well as you possibly can be given the circumstances of existing. I wanted to hop on. Hey, Jeff. I wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about this full moon in Libra that we have the weekend. Jeff, tell me if this is working, by the way, because I feel like my Wi-Fi is not here. So can you see me? You can't be on my live. No, absolutely not. This is not, we can do that another time, King. I have things to say. Anyway, I hope you're well. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sky, how it can be affecting us, and all of those beautiful things. The first thing that I want to note before we even get into the full moon is the fact that Venus is no longer in the sign of Pisces. So you probably heard, thank you for letting me know. You probably heard me go on and on about how Venus in Pisces was going to be a really beautiful time to really indulge in our idealistic ways of being, enjoying arts and sensations and colors and all of those things. And it was a beautiful time. I actually really enjoyed Venus in Pisces, especially because it was kind of like my Venus return. But she's no longer there. And I don't know if you guys felt that shift, but Venus is now in the sign of Aries, and the way that we relate is completely different. It's one of those, I think a lot of like shifts in Venus signs can be much more smooth and transitional, but this one felt really like just stark and like just immediate. But now Venus is in the sign of Aries, so the way that we relate is much more impulsive. It's much more childlike, which is beautiful, and also has its like cons, right? I think it makes us more curious. It makes us more like I said, playful and wanting to explore different ideas and different things. But it also can make us very irritable. It can make us very snappy. It can make us very moody and just childlike in other kinds of ways, right? Not really being fully communicative, not feeling like we are able to really sort of share what it is that we're processing, what we're thinking. It can also make us very difficult when it comes to concentration or focus. I feel like during Venus and Pisces, like my meditations, I was able to go like 12 layers down and really like root myself in intention and presence. And the minute Venus and Aries shifted, which happened a couple days ago, or did that happen a couple days ago? I have to check. But like, I can't concentrate. Like I can't meditate as long or as like completely as I once did, which is really upsetting. But I mean, also it's worth noting that I've been able to explore different ways of meditation. So I've been doing a lot of walking meditations and a lot of like, guided ones. So I say that to say, work with the energy shifts. Don't just damn them or villainize them, but recognize like, okay, we're working with a different kind of set of scissors here. So Venus is now in the sign of Aries. Take this opportunity as a time to play, but different. I think I always talk about like inner child play and how we can heal through sort of disconnecting from productivity, but this is different than before. I think it's kind of almost, we won't be able to function if we don't disconnect from productivity a little bit. Like your body right now really will not be able to handle what indulging in just like creative flow looks like. So make sure that you are honoring that by, playing with your curiosity, reading on something new, doing a lot of like tangible things. Right now the energy is very kinetic. So playing with your hands, playing with anything that is born from like physical creation, really diving into like using your body, just like a kid would. If you're in a park and you see a tree, like climb that thing, baby. Like really come back to what a child would do if they needed to exert like physical energy, right? What else? Yeah, you could be more irritable than usual. I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but I'm just so moody. I also think it's like a hormonal thing, but like right now the energy is very we have a lot of concentration in Aries, which can be a somewhat chaotic energy. So if you feel moody, if you feel like you are kind of jumping all over the place with your emotions, really just take the time to be more intentional with the way that you respond to things, with the way that you exert your time, how you use your tongue, and all of those things. Mars and Mercury are forming a square, so this is honestly going to further perpetuate sort of like an aggressive nature. And it's going to perpetuate aggressivity when it comes to not only the way that you relate to others, but also the way that you relate to yourself. So making sure that you are extending yourself as much grace as possible. And that means coming back to what physical play looks like. So really just using your body, trying out new workouts, trying out, what like being meditative in a physical way looks like for you. But yeah, just Mars and Mercury also forming a square. Something that I really want to point out about this, I don't know if you guys, wherever in the world you're watching from, If you guys have noticed more like car accidents, but I have this written down. What is it? Mercury rules over cars and roadways, and Mars rules over accidents and physicality. So there have been a lot more collisions. People have been much more aggressive with the way that they relate to each other, and that also means like more road rage. So just like at least until April 4th, but really just like right now during this period, be really, really, really cautious and attentive and more present than you usually would be when it comes to how you are like transportation, honestly, however it is that you're getting around, making sure that you're being as safe as possible, because that is like a thing to look out for. But otherwise, the way that it bleeds into our lives is I have it written down: miscommunication, irritability, impatience, feeling a bit moody. But also the pros of it would be just really diving into more of who we are as like curious children in the playground. You can also feel more social, but with that square, you could also feel more depleted. So it really is however it's showing up for you, and whatever transit or whatever I guess is in your chart and how these transits are hitting you specifically. Why can't I literally talk right now, child? Not me getting out of breath. Ooh. Yeah, making sure right now a beautiful focus, especially, so this full moon is coming up this weekend on Sunday, and full moons are obviously beautiful for releasing and all of that. It's the first full moon of like the astrological new year though, so it's important to be intentional with, especially during the month of March, because we have no retrograde, so there's not a lot that's gonna like kind of backfire in terms of like manifestations and stuff. But hi, thank you for joining. There could be a lot of breakthroughs when it comes to relationships because of the fact that this full moon is in the sign of Libra, and Libra, which is a Venus-ruled sign, it rules relationships. It rules how we show up relationally. And with also Venus sort of shifting signs, there's going to be a lot of shift in perspective in relationships, platonically, romantically, especially familial in your family, child. It's going to be shift in perspective when it comes to how you relate to your family members in a beautiful way, in a harsh way, in an enlightening way. However it shows up for you, just know that like that is the theme right now. Hold on, let me wipe my lip gloss. Oh my gosh. This is why I can't do color. Anyway. So just making sure that you're being intentional, and within that sort of seeing the role that you need to play when it comes to healing within your relationships. If there is something that needs to be said, if there's a relationship that is draining you and you feel like you are only nourishing it to keep the other person comfortable, or if you feel like, and you know, conversely, if you aren't receiving what it is that you need to be receiving in your relationships, just making sure that you're voicing that. A beautiful theme right now is also boundaries, making sure that we're honoring boundaries within ourselves, how we overstep our own worth and our own energy, and how we're making sure others respect and honor our boundaries. So really voicing that. There's no way to expect anyone else to know what you need or what you want if you're not actually speaking on it. So really making sure that you now use this time to do it, but doing it with intention and with presence rather than impulsive, because there's a lot of impulsive nature in the stars right now. Another beautiful element of Libra full moon would be being more intentional with the way that we are showing up in this world. And that means dating yourself, right? That means really beautifying. Libra is a Venus-ruled sign, like I said, and Venus, amongst many other things, rules our femininity and the way that we sort of adorn ourselves. And I know I talk about body adornment a lot, but it is really important when it comes to how we relate to ourselves, which I just realized, not me wearing like a full face of makeup, but this is for something else. But I say that to say, just be more intentional with the way that you are seen, the way that you show up. If you work in any like field of artistry, coming up with that cover art or really showcasing what it is that you're creating and packaging it in a way that's beautiful and that you deserve for it to be seen as. I think that's a really beautiful theme right now. And beautify your environment, making sure that, you know, wherever it is that you live or where you spend your most time, that it reflects you and that it feels comfortable and it feels sort of representative of your identity or your current identity. Libra rules partnerships and beauty, so pay attention to how you want to be seen and just pay attention to the roles that relationships are playing in your life. A journaling prompt that I just posted that I'm going to also refer to right now is the importance of balance in our lives. Libras are represented by the scales, and it's because they rule balance. So whatever is out of balance in our lives right now is going to be very obvious, very, very, very obvious. So making sure that if there's any ways in which you are just showing up and you're pouring too much, you're answering every single phone call, you are working so hard that you haven't even caught in a single sunset, or you're just not you're giving too much, or maybe you're not even giving at all and you're closing yourself off because you're saying no too much. Whether your no is overused or your yes is overused, really coming to terms with like what that looks like for you and how you can bring it to a safe middle ground where you are being respected, where you're respecting yourself, and where you're respecting other parties. But you can't respect anyone else if you're not respecting yourself. So just making sure that you're coming clear or in a space that's in clarity with your boundaries, with what is out of balance in your relationships and in your life in general. Also your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your work. Pride aside, ego aside, men relationships that need nurture. So really recognizing the ways in which you need to be playing a role in healing those relationships that are now having a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of just more spotlight shown on them. And yeah, Mars and Mercury, making sure that you're being really safe with your transportation, making sure that you're thinking through before saying, that you're not too impulsive, that you're exerting any physical energy or just like a lot of pent up energy in physical activity. And yeah, Venus is in the sign of Aries. So if you feel like there may be more arguments or, you know, more irritability, just being intentional with that and instead choosing to exert that tension another way, which could be sex, whatever that looks like for you. And the couple of journaling prompts that I wanted to share with you before I log off is, which boundaries have I been dismissing when it comes to my relationships? Really getting clear on the ways in which you're not respecting yourself. I'm so glad it resonates. What area of my life needs more balance and how can I implement that? And the one that I just shared on the page, which is, what did I say that it was? How can I be more, where do I need more unwavering no, and where do I need more intentional yes? So that is the astro weather for this week. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are feeling beautiful or doing what you can to feel beautiful. And I will see you in the next transit. Have fun, homies.